clearly, for the Indian market, we are planning to have dedicated pricing. So it will be a different pricing in India than for the rest of the world. And also different packaging. So as NC just mentioned, we will have some specific bundle, bouquet of products and packages via subscription, which are not necessarily existing in other markets. I will let NC describe a little bit more how we are approaching that. But just to answer your question about how do we differentiate ourselves via our peers, I think the main fundamental thing, which is really in the DNA of the Nemetschek Group, especially of our founder, Professor Georg Nemetschek, is the fact that we always pushed in the industry for open standard and interoperability. As you know, the construction industry is highly fragmented. I mean, if you look at large construction projects, you can easily have 25, 30, even 50 different software solutions used in a construction project. We believe in bridges. We believe in streamlining the workflow and not working only in silos. And that's why Nemetschek Group, I mean, we were one of the first really to push open BIM, open BIM. And pushing for open standard also with Building Smart and other international organizations. I think that's really the main thing. So, and as we were working also on a federated group of companies, Nemetschek Group, it was also important for us to make sure that we have a good data integration and a good workflow between our different solutions, but in an open and interoperable way. I think that's probably the main difference that we have, especially versus other large competitor.
My second question to Mr. Chatterjee, what sort of mandate has been given to you by your global CEO?
Okay, let me address to the first part. So, the construction industry is working very fragmented way. The digitalization in the construction has started late compared to the automobile industry or the mechanical industry. So, taking that into a consideration, and the contemporary companies that you have referred to, who's right now what we have done in a market survey and what we got the market survey as an indication that some of the contemporary companies or the innovator technology companies their approach appears to be to the customers is little more monopolistic. So the kind of approach that we are going to take to break down to our offering into a package, for package going to be a company who is a 5 resources company to a 5,000 resources company. So that's why we are breaking down to our offering so that the affordability of our software becomes much more efficient into those who wanted to implement, those who wanted to get an alternative options, those who are not very happy with what's the solution they're using it. So that's why we are going to address to that. And as Yves says that India pricing, India customers pricing, we are going to take it up into very differently so that the affordability factor for our solution are becoming much more prominent into the India market. Coming back to your questions about the mandate, so, it's not about any mandate, it's about how we are driving the business into India, how we are going to address the customers' need it into India, and whatever to do to address to the customer's need, we will do everything on that. Whether it needs to customer support, whether it needs to be marketing, whether it needs to be reaching out to the last mile of the customer's chain, how our solutions can benefit, how the value propositions our solutions are going to be. These are something which Nemetschek India Mumbai office is going to take care of it. And we will do all the steps of whatever needs to be taken care from that.
Thank you very much.
Right, as Yves has already said that it's globally it's only 10% in Asia and quite obviously not very significant percentage from the India market. We are looking into the India market as a growth opportunity market. So right now it may be very difficult to project because we are just launching it, but I can only tell you that we are very ambitious into our plan, that how we can grow to market share, how we can offering as a better alternative solutions to the Indian customers, and then grow our market share to the Indian subcontinental market.
But no figure you are ready
Well, if you want me to project something on a very ambitious plan, so maybe in the 3 years down the line, we'll expect it to be the holding near about a 15 to 20% market growth into the India market, into the AEC space, technology space. India's AEC markets, technology market part of it. 15 to 20%, that's our ambitious growth. That's a short-term goal within next 1 to 2 years or 3 years' time. And then gradually, any company would like to be the market leader. And we wanted to be that market leader into the India market.
Yeah, this is for Mr. Padrines. Welcome to India, all of you. My question is about the timing. I mean, you have been around in India in a small way, in Hyderabad for the last 10 years. So what were your learnings during those 10 years? And what has dictated this move in 2024? What is the view from Munich that dictates this sudden move to sudden or whatever? Is it a very deliberated, a very thought of plan? Can you give me an assessment of what is the view obtaining from Munich of India as a business destination for you?
Yeah. So first of all, as you may know, the Nemetschek Group was really operated as a financial holding until very recently, which means that each of our brands were acting as separated company and deciding, where they want to implement themselves and also doing that alone. So if one of our brands, for example, Bluebeam, wants to go in a certain market, they would do that individually. We say that Nemetschek India is implemented for over 10 years. It was one of our brands called Spacewell, which is in the operate and manage segment, doing workspace management, energy management software, IWMS software. So customers are facility managers or people, operating and maintaining buildings. So tenants themselves, banks and ministers, etc. And we decided 2 years ago to take Spacewell India, which was mainly an R&D center, engineering center for our brand Spacewell, where the headquarters is in Belgium and Netherlands, to become not only Spacewell India, but Nemetschek India. Exactly 2 years ago, we decided that. And therefore, now Nemetschek India in Hyderabad is not only working and supporting our products from Spacewell, but also products from other brands such as Bluebeam or new digital twin solution, or Solibri, for example, which is our clash detection, BIM, BIM quality checking, insurance software solution. And I joined the company as a CEO beginning of 2022, Louise beginning of 2023, and Mark back in September last year. And clearly, when we saw that we are only doing 10% of our total revenue in Asia Pacific, and it's more PAC than A, so it's more in Australia and New Zealand. We are strong in Japan, we are okay in Singapore. But then the rest of Asia, especially in India, I was quite shocked to see that we don't do much more. And why we were not doing much more? Because we didn't have any presence. None of our brand had any presence in India in terms of sales, marketing, go-to-market activity to sell in India. So we were working, some of our brands, not all, with some small resellers here and there, but without any strong focus. And that's why it is for the first time in the history now of the Nemetschek Group that we are implementing a Nemetschek office. Not a Bluebeam office or a Graphisoft office or a Vectorworks office, but it's a Nemetschek office in Mumbai representing our AEC software. And therefore, NC and the team now are going to push our entire portfolio over time for the Indian market. So I think that's a bit the history. And then, of course, digitalization in the construction industry is very low. And that's global. But in particular in India, I think the level of digitalization is still low. So it's still kind of a greenfield and with a huge opportunities of growth. Hunting and fishing is probably the only industry which is less digitalized than construction. And it is the third largest construction market in the world. So we see that it's the right time now to invest, accelerate the investment, and really help all the players in the overall life cycle of a construction project. So it's not only in design and planning, where we are very strong, but also in build and construct, and then also in operate and manage, to make this world more sustainable.
Okay, now this one is for Luis. Luis, you are a finance person, so how do you assess the risks and strengths of the Indian market? You would have obviously done some study of the Indian market before making a move here. So from your perspective, I would like to hear something.
Yeah. No, thank you. Very good question. Of course, as Yves said as well, we have been in the Indian market for quite some time with our brands. So we also know a little bit the mechanics of the market, etc. As I alluded to before, we have been here for 10 years also with our R&D center. So I say as an amateur group, we do know the Indian market quite well. We also, what we did in order to take this step now to really invest into India and to really significantly grow our presence, and also, as NC said before, really take a bigger chunk of this market to be one of the main players in this market. We looked, of course, also where are really the chances? Where is the industry standing right now? I think it's the right time now to go into the market, because Yves alluded to that as well. The digitalization in this market is slow, but we see there is a huge demand for these kind of services, and we also see that our products fit very well. So this risk and opportunities we have balanced really well. We have the right answers. We are bundling in a way really to meet the demands of the Indian markets. So I see strong chances. I think where we need to make sure is that we really attract the right kind of talent, that we educate the market as well to the products, and there we will invest both, as NC was alluding to as well, together with corporations with the academia, but also of course with important players in the market. We will leverage on the great presence we have as an employer in India already. So I think that those risks are really well handleable, and I see a huge opportunity in this market.
You mentioned 60 years of profitable growth in your initial speech. So what is your assessment? I mean, have you made some, can you come to some approximation of what you expect out of India?
Well, I think that the Nemetschek business model is a profitable model. So we have solutions that meets our customers' demands. And I think it's very important, Yves alluded to before, we were one of the first ones that really developed the open standards, etc. That's really in our DNA. But what is also really in our DNA is customer proximity. Really to be close to the customer, to have the right kind of products. And of course, that also drives returns. So we will make sure that also India contributes to our profitability. But, and as a CFO, it's important to say that as well for me, we will also invest into the Indian market, because we will not be here just with, as we said before, with a brand or two and have that. We want this to be a considerable contributor to our APAC strategy and really growing and being, as NC said as well, one of the market leaders here. So we will also invest into the market, but we do expect also this to be a profitable market, so that we will also have the return for all our stakeholders, being our shareholders, but also the employers, etc., working for us also here in India.
Yeah, Mark, this is for you. Obviously, you'll be guided by your colleague Nirmala Chatterjee about inputs from. There'll be inputs from the Indian market as well as the local inputs. What is the overall strategy for the India market? Because you are looking at India as a huge growth destination. So is there a specific strategy you have in mind in relation to the products that you have lined up? And I'll come to NC after that.
Yeah, the way we want to support NC, and also to continue to support also development of our R&D operations here in India, is to support the deployment of our offering, and in some cases customization of our libraries and so on and so forth. Not only the pricing, but also the libraries, to have our product to fit for the Indian market. The first priority will be, of course, on the design software, and alongside with the design software will be also everything around the field and office construction management application that we have, namely Bluebeam, and also our recent acquisition, Go Canvas. So we believe the way to bridge the office work and the field worker is definitely an added value that Nemetschek can bring to India, into the construction operation efficiencies. So that's the way we would support NC.
You see, just very recently tied up with Autodesk, obviously a competitor not very long ago. So how are you going to work together? I mean, obviously the advantage is interoperability, we know that. But you have a plan in action. Do you see more such collaborations with other players as well in the market?
Well, I will let Mark describe his partnership because he was leading it with the team.
Yeah.
But clearly, Autodesk is a partner, but is also still a competitor. So, and again, you know, we strongly believe in interoperability, and that's why we really pushed in the market for many decades, and now also now with Autodesk, to make sure that there is interoperability between our different solutions, because we believe in bridges and not in silo. And this is something that is very key and important for end customers and our end users. Especially if you look at a big part of our customers, they are architecture firms or engineering firms and small and medium businesses, not only large companies, but also small ones. And it's very important for them that there is this interoperable way of working, especially when you are doing one model from ArchiCAD, etc., and be able then to share it with some developers working on the project who are using maybe Revit a tool from Autodesk and so on. But maybe Mark, you want to add?
No, I think you perfectly described it. Actually, the case for change is simply that while we were all having applications that were on desktop, on premise, we could have continued to be siloed also in defining our competitive environment and also our collaborative environment. The case for change is the cloud, is AI, is a necessity to very simply enable our customers to share data, files, to be in control of who they want to share with, so workflow management, user role management. They want to be able to overlay a visualization representation, a model of what they've been doing in their own specialty. Are you a structural designer? Are you an architect? Are you a mechanical designer, an electrical one, a plumbing one? So together with Autodesk and other software vendors, we owe our customers a level of interoperability that is enabling them to leverage the benefits from the cloud. And that forces us, or gives us the opportunity, to redefine where we compete on the application level and where we need to partner and collaborate. It is on the way we provide those transverse workflows and data exchange to our customers. So I would say that it's a very mature way to, on one hand, compete, on the other hand, partner to the benefit of architects, engineers, builders.
NC, this is for you. Are there products that are specific for the Indian market, you know, that are tailor-made for the Indian market? And how do you plan to spread it across?
Okay, so we are not making it separate onto that. So our Indian customers is going to avail the same global product, but we are also making some Indianizations of that. For example, our one of the brand product RISA, who was also before we come into India.
Can you repeat that, please?
RISA, which is for the structural analysis and design. Yeah. We have included the Indian design codes there itself. Yeah. Another of our product SDS2, which is giving the connection designs, which has included the Indian codes and Indian sections part of it. So we are doing wherever the Indian customers' requirement for the domestic projects requirement, we are doing that. At the same time, we are bringing the global whole technology for the available to the Indian market. So this is a kind of a mix and match that we are doing it to address to the Indian customers' requirement.
India and of course Asia is just 10% of your business.
Yeah.
As representing India, do you have a specific plan of action to see that figure moves to, let's say, 30% or 40%?
Quite obviously, I cannot talk about the percentage on that part of it, but you can understand the investment that Nemetschek group is making to the India market. We have that aim that how we can grow the Asia contributions, and India will probably going to play a vital role into that growth path of the Asia contribution within the sectors.
Okay. Luis, can you tell us about your recent financial performance?
So, as I alluded to at the beginning, fiscal year 2023 for the Nemetschek Group, we closed the year with 850 million euros revenue and very strong profitability, around 30% EBITDA margin. And we have guided for this year, for fiscal year 2024 for the group, we have guided 10 to 11% growth, revenue growth that is, and also a continued strong EBITDA margin in the range of 30 to 31%. In the longer term, so say 2025, we don't guide there, but we say that we want as a group to reach at least mid-teens growth. And you heard Yves before saying also that the AECO industry in general is growing, so to say, double digit. So you could ask yourself why Nemetschek will be posed to grow above market. And I think what we have been setting the standard for in the last 60 years, and our coverage of the whole life cycle of the AECO industry, which is quite unique in this industry, really having specific solutions that we now also start to bundle more and more, coming from this more federated approach that we had in the past, to using all those assets in the group as the Nemetschek Group to provide solutions for our customers and answers to their challenges in the market. That should give us the opportunity. It gives us already in the past years now the opportunity to grow up above the market. I think what's important to say in the financial performance, I alluded to the strong growth last year. We have a very high single-digit revenue growth last year, and that's despite currently changing a whole revenue model, going from perpetual licenses to a subscription model. And the subscription model really is something that will help us also with that continued growth in the future, and that progress is going very well for the group.
Okay, any more? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to be as short as possible in the interest of time. So, firstly, welcome to Mumbai. You're a 60-year-old company, but I believe you're a 60-year young company. You have many miles to go and many years to go. 60 years is not a small figure. I mean, to sustain those many years, it takes a lot. So congratulations on that. Now, having said all that, could you tell us about what is the percentage? You just mentioned that it's India is 10% of your market. Sorry, the Asia Pacific. What is India's percentage? Could you elaborate a little bit on that? And how much do you expect to grow after you have opened an office in Mumbai and now?
So India is a very small part of our overall
so maybe 2%
revenue.
Or something?
We're not disclosing any numbers, and we are significantly planning to grow that. So that's why.
Great. So any targets, or would you like to disclose that you are doubling your in this thing?
Well, I think NC mentioned what he has as his own target, which is to be midterm between 15 to 20% market share for the AEC software in India.
Great. So what are the opportunities and challenges in India? There are two types of things. One could be the builders themselves, the construction people themselves, because of, as they said, value for money, costing and pricing. And the other could be the government itself. I mean, there are a lot of regulations, there's a lot of red tape. So how do you use your software to overcome these challenges? Because there are probably, it's quite simple when everything is very transparent on record and it is accessible to all the people. So there is that could be one of the possibilities. Are there any other things that you would like to elaborate on for the benefit of our readers when we write the articles?
Okay, so good question. Government sectors, as I mentioned, that we are now we are just launching it in India, and we have already started reaching out to the government department. Yesterday itself, we had a very good meeting with the two ministry, one with the Deputy Chief Minister Fadnavis, and then we met the Minister for the Skill Development, Mr. Lodha. So we are doing it. We are going and reaching out to every ministry level to figure it out what way Nemetschek in India can be a part of this digitalization journey of the government. So we will reach out to all the government department. We'll figure it out how we can contribute to this growth journey of the India market within the government sectors too.
One very good thing that was discussed today is that the number of jobs that will get generated because of this, your collaboration with JJ School of Architecture is one more feather in your cap, and that could also help. So could you share something as to how will the students get jobs? How many students are you looking at? What kind of collaboration? A little bit on
Okay,
that
so
part.
that's a concept that we are taking into the India market by making it as a Nemetschek Center of Excellence. So this is, for example, this is a starting point. We are doing it with the JJ. We are getting very good responses from IITs. NICMAR. So these are very prestigious institutes. So they are showing interest to be a center of excellence for Nemetschek. Our aim is within the next 1 year time, we will be opening at least 20 center of such excellences throughout in India. And we'll be able to produce at least 2,000 to 2,500 skilled engineers who will be allowing the kind of Nemetschek technologies know-how so that they will be able to adopt the kind of latest technology. And that's also going to be beneficial for our private customers, because people may adopt our technology, but they will be needing the resources. So it's a gap between demand and supply that we are going to address to that. So that's a kind of an ambitious goal that we are taking. We are taking all the steps that we can do. We are providing the education licenses to the education institute so that the students community can become more employable. That's the main aim from the Nemetschek from India.
Let's take 2 more questions. Yeah, my one is very subtle. I mean, since you talk about construction, and a big part of construction is also real estate. So do you have some separate plans for it? I mean, how you're gonna approach them, or you will be concentrating on government projects or other infra projects only?
So clearly, if you look at the Nemetschek Group solutions, we are present in the overall construction life cycle. And when we say construction, it's not only infrastructure, but a big part of our business is related to buildings. Yeah. And when we say buildings, it's real estate, and it's, of course, residential, but also commercial and public sector. So really, our DNA is a lot on the building side. So this is really what we do. If you look, for example, at products on the design and planning side, such as ArchiCAD, it is really for architects related to any type of buildings. If you look at Vectorworks, the same. Or Vectorworks is also related to landscaping and interior design. If you look at our operate and manage solutions, they are purely dedicated to buildings today, etc. So yes, it's not only about infrastructure. And when we talk about infrastructure on our side, our software solutions in infrastructure are very related to transportation, so bridge, tunnel, roads. But then, of course, with Bluebeam, which is a collaboration software to exchange PDF file and do markup on PDF, etc., it is an office and also field management type of collaboration solution, Bluebeam. This is for any type of segment. So it could be anything related to industry, infrastructure, and also, of course, building. And that's why Bluebeam is used also even in oil and gas and in utilities, and not necessarily in pure infrastructure or building environment. So we have an R&D team for the last 10 years already, based in Hyderabad. We have in total now around 150 people in India, and we are planning to grow this significantly over the next few years.
Okay, perfect. And on the investment front?
Well, 150 people. So we are a software company, so as a software company, our costs are mainly skill set and people, yes.
But but going forward with your expansion plans, you have an ambitious expansion plans for India. What kind of investment are you pouring in for this?
Well, we are not disclosing numbers for specific markets, sorry.
One quick question on the employment front. What will be the team strength for the India operations? Approx?
So right now, the Mumbai operations, so we are starting with 15 people. That's just a starting point, but we will have a very ambitious growth plan because we just started in India. Depending on the responses from the India market, depending on the customers' needs, we're probably going to go to the other cities where our sales and marketing or support centers is going to be. So right now we are starting with this, but that number will significantly grow in the coming days.
Thank you.
And also, you know, our model is to work also a lot with the partners. As we are not only targeting large customers, but a lot of small and medium-sized customers, we will work also with local resellers and distributors and local channel partners. So that's also going to be our strong go-to-market route.
Maybe if I can just add to your question to that as well. I think the first thing is that the Nemetschek Group, as alluded to, we have a strong revenue growth and a strong profitability, and we have a very high cash generation as well. So we have self-funded our growth over the last 60 years, and we have the potential to invest. And I think we are also, what's the second part of our DNA is M&A as well. We have been growing by very successful M&A transactions in the past, and we have been adding throughout the last couple of years also very successful investment, seed investment, early stage investor, venture capital investment. And that's also something we are definitely not excluding the Indian market from. We have looked at a few and also done very small investment here, but also on the M&A and venture front could also be an area of investment into the market.
Well, there are a lot of very interesting startup companies here in India, and we already made a couple of small investments in startups and more to come, hopefully.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. We have a lunch here, so please